Okay. All right, there we go. Now we are live in effect. Let's take a look here. Let me get this off here. All right. Peace and love, ascension and prosperity to everybody out there. It is your brozo here on the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. And as you know, always, the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast, we are here to uplift humanity in addition to assist in waking up the woolly, melanated zombies that are walking around and are starting to wake up finally. So, our mission is to do that, to spread information that can help and assist in waking up. And we have a very powerful guest here, a very interesting guest, good brother. Oh yeah, let me before I go forward, before I introduce him, please, if you haven't already, go. You know, y'all been hitting me up. I see that. Go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com. Appreciate y'all ordering the book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. Check that out. Um, that's it for me. I'm gonna let the good brother, Chief Nighthawk, explain who he is, what he does, and et cetera, et cetera. So please, brother.
Hey, peace and prosperity to everyone out there holding some vibrations. My name is Tellis D. Johnson. I also go by Chief Nighthawk. I represent the Yamasee Nation, Yamasee clan of the Great Altamaha, the land in which we stand on. I am a native uh, of this land and a native of this territory, which what they call Georgia right now. Um, so yeah, I guess
Nice.
want to know a little bit more about myself?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if you want me to,
okay,
start roll with it, let's roll with it. I got it. You already gave me enough ammunition right there to go. Um,
okay, there you go.
so all right, let's we're gonna go back to Lil Tellis. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
growing up, like, was this information something that was already a part of your family? Was this something you found? Could you kind of talk about like, was this something already in your family, or did something that you had to find as far as you realizing that you know your lineage?
Okay, well, as far as my lineage and where I come from,
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough when I was born. My great grandmother was still living.
Mm-hmm.
She passed when I was 6 months, and I spent a lot of time with my great grandmother. And my great grandmother was the one who gave me all this information about me being native and we being native and who we were, where we come from. She always made sure to let me know that we're not descendants of Africans in that way. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we was always here on this land, and they enslaved us here on this land.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't come over here on boats. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have a picture of my four times great grandmother. Her name was Muddy Water.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is a lot of my information, unlike some people, was able to be passed down orally.
Mm.
You know,
Okay. And is it even in your name? Is that something that kind of goes back in, your family name? Is that something that goes back like in records, et cetera? Because I know a lot of people be digging in genealogy, et cetera. Is that something that, that connects you as well?
what the Johnson,
Yeah,
the
whatever name.
yeah, the Johnson name actually does connect back to the Yamasee tribe.
Okay.
So I was able to track that, and also my that's my dad's side, but
Mm-hmm.
also on my mom's side, which is Matthews, that
Mm-hmm.
also tracks back to the Yamasee tribe as well. So that was like interesting, very interesting. You know, when I found that information out.
So
But
both sides.
you can track it back, yeah, on both sides. Because that's what I'm saying. My grandfather, I know my grandfather is from this land, and my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother is from this land, this
Mm-hmm.
territory, which we call Georgia now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so they were always here on this land. They just happened to meet up and still, you know, procreate.
So could you kind of walk us through? Because some of these people, I know some of these people, they don't understand the concept of what you're saying. How you sitting here with your headdress on and you not looking like a the atypical Native American. Could you kind of give the break it down of like you say that we were already here as Black Native Americans and maybe even the story that how the shift happened in which we were named something else and lost that name in that time frame.
Yeah, I'll break it down as best I can. I
Okay.
wish my Maku, because I'm chief of medicine. I'm not chief of a tribe. I have a
Gotcha.
chief of Yamasi. My head Maku is Chief Rock Eagle. He's
Okay.
the one. He's the like the I guess you would call them the one who tells the story in oral traditions.
Gotcha.
That's what his family line is. But as
Gotcha.
much as I can tell you, we were already here on this land. We
Hmm.
were already doing great things. I mean, to say this land, is I have to down myself just to communicate to people and let people know that we circumference this whole planet.
Hmm.
We lived on a planet. We
Hmm.
understand that we were on a whole sphere and a whole planet. So we established civilizations and colonies in this planet. We just didn't live on a country in which the Europeans like to break things up. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like when I don't like I'm trying to educate people out of just getting away from saying that we from here and we from there, and we all melanated people have been all over this planet, and it's proven.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Before colonization took place, before the certain written language took place, before English took place,
Hmm.
we were already living on this whole planet.
Hmm.
Now, as far as Altamaha, in which they call America, that's what we refer to this land. This land space is called Altamaha.
Hmm.
Uh, when we say that we are from Africa, or some people are from Africa, what they're not understanding is that we were royalties, right? We had
Hmm.
royalties on this land, and we had royalties on the land which they call Africa. We had already had we were already navigating the sea waves
Hmm.
before they started coming over here.
Hmm.
So you will have royalties. You might have a king come from over there, bring all these gifts, and we exchange goods. He might marry a princess from over here.
Hmm.
She may go back over there, or he may stay over here.
Hmm.
And that could go either way. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So we were already exchanging goods. We were already procreating with one another back and forth,
Hmm.
because these was our distant relatives. But we didn't necessarily, all of us, come over here transported as slaves. That's a narrative that needs to stop. Just and we don't have to say that we came from Africa. It's not knocking my African kin people. It's just to say that we wasn't transported on all these ships from Africa like they try to push that narrative. They
Yeah.
need to stop
Yeah.
saying that. We were
Yeah.
we were transported. Yeah, we were put on ships and navigated on the seas, but we were like displaced from like different islands, the Caribbeans, brought up to the mainland's coast. So like imagine coming from, you get picked up in Jamaica, and then they take you all the way up to somewhere like Virginia.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would think you were in a whole other world.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
you went from palm trees to seeing a whole different type of greenery and landscape. You would really think you was in another world,
Yeah.
right? Even just Georgia, we don't have palm trees.
Hmm.
So if somebody took you from one of the islands and brought you to Georgia, you would think you was in a whole nother world. You would really
Yeah.
think that you came from across the sea. So that's the perception in which a lot of people were coming from, and a lot of people shared their stories, not really understanding the globe and the whole scape of what they were doing. We were already here. They just dispersed us from one territory to the next territory. You know what I'm saying? New Orleans looks different from Tennessee. Tennessee looks different from Alabama. So if
Hmm.
from back in the day, without television and things, if I took you from Tennessee and dropped you off in New Orleans, you would think you was in another place.
Whole new place. Yep. And the interesting thing is, it's like all throughout his story, even going back like to the biblical times, it's like a lot of individuals, a lot of places, you can't find them. You know what I'm saying? The reason I'm
Right.
saying that, so where are all the slave boats? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where are all these different slave boats that
All
supposedly
these
did all
artifacts
this?
of right. Right. We have artifacts of the things that we did
Yeah.
spread it throughout the world.
Hmm.
What are these artifacts that y'all claim? What are these artifacts at?
Yeah, if it was such a in the way that they what's the word? The way they exaggerate. Now we know that it's obviously slavery happened, you know, it's been happening since, you know, the
Yeah,
beginning of time
slavery,
when,
man.
you
This
know,
world is 6 years old. Like this world has existed six times. Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
ain't the this, yeah, this ain't new.
This ain't new. Yeah, and nothing's new under the sun like we say. So,
Yeah, nothing.
you know, we know that certain things happen, but the way that they always lie in history and always exaggerate, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Chief, I'm gonna tell you, real talk, man. I've come to like the realization when it comes to anything that's written on TV by them, it's a goddamn lie. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lie,
I
basically.
don't believe nothing they say. Zero. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
it's
I mean,
fabricated. It's fabricated. It's snatched from us and
mhm,
retold and repackaged and given back to us as something new. When all of it is our technology, all of it is our stuff.
mhm,
Like this headdress. This headdress is a piece of technology. Like some people might say, "Oh, that's a costume." That's what the $5 Indian have diminished it to as being a
mm,
part of a costume. But this is high level technology. Like no one taught me how to make my headdress, right?
mhm,
So once I woke up back to just the aspect of representing this native land,
mhm,
because like a lot of our people, my family started with my grandmother. They got wrapped up in Christianity.
yeah,
So
yeah,
once that happened, they kind of just pushed the native heritage aside. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? No,
mhm,
nobody carried that on. So once I woke up, just uh acceptance, you know what I'm saying, of myself. This is something I always knew. I never had
mhm,
to say, uh, we not from here. I just had to go back to representing that and give people the proper narrative and understanding and giving people the image. So when I wanted to start representing my native heritage, I had to use psychedelics to bring certain information back. You
mm,
know, I used psilocybin mushrooms to bring the
mhm,
information back to build my headdress.
mm,
I have several headdresses, you know what I'm
mhm,
saying? And I have receipts and people who witnessed that they see me construct this. I've never done it before, and they see me construct it from scratch. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? And each time I got better and better and perfected it. But this is and in the process of them teaching me how to make it, it also explained to me what it is. This is a high level piece of technology. This is like uh different ones do different things.
mhm,
This right here, the one I'm wearing now is made out of a red tail hawk.
mhm,
So this helps amplify my sight,
mm.
you know, just very well, very, very keen sight
Wow.
in this realm and in the astral realm as well. So when we say sight, it's like overall sight. So
So,
projecting the sight, if I meditate with it on, I have
mhm,
keener sight and
mhm,
insight and perception is what I'm on. If I go in and I wear this one and I go in on the entheogens with it and it
mm.
amplifies, you know what I'm saying? I take on the characteristics of the hawk all the way.
Wow, that's heavy. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
amazing to me. That's the interesting thing. It's like we most of us look like you said, like the $5 Indians. Most of us don't even realize that this dress, the culture, you know, staffs, whatever the case may be. I can go on, but like you said, this is all technology. They have deeper
Yes.
meanings. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
here's my question: like, what was the connection between you getting introduced to the entheogens to, you know, what merged your Native American, you know, what did something call you to the
See, well,
entheogens?
Okay, no, this is my story.
Hmm.
Uh, um, how I got into the Entheogens. I
Okay.
was battling at the time we were pregnant with
Hmm.
my first child, my son,
Hmm.
and I was battling cocaine addiction at the
Hmm.
level of like mental aspect. I was able to get myself off using it, but then
Mm.
I was trying to understand why did I continue to want to do something that was harmful to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the process of doing that, I spoke to my midwife about the situation, and she
Hmm.
mentioned iboga to me,
Mm.
right? So in the process of me researching iboga, I came across ayahuasca,
Hmm.
right? So then ayahuasca, when I started researching ayahuasca like appeared to me.
Hmm.
A medicine man happened to be in town, and I was
Hmm.
able to partake in a ceremony.
Hmm.
And since that one ceremony, I never stopped using the theogens to help improve and evolve myself. So along the way of me cleaning myself up, that's when I was it took some years before I just made contact with my ancestors. It was at first just me about cleaning myself up because I had
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
trauma, you know what I'm saying, a lot of PTSD. I was in the Marine Corps,
Mm.
I've been to prison. So I've had a full life of a lot of
Hmm.
different things and aspects of
Hmm.
myself that I had to clean up. So after I did a lot of cleaning up of myself, I was able to come in contact with my ancestors,
Mm.
right? And when that happened, it was like as many as I can see stood before me, and they all had on like headdresses,
Mm.
right? And in that process, I was talking to them and everything, and it just empowered me to start representing them and myself more in this light because we they trying to erase us from even that. They're
Yeah.
just trying to erase us, acting like it was no melanated people here. It was no melanated natives here on this land. That no, we're not. They're the and to say that some of the long straight haired natives, some of those are natives that mixed in with us, that
Yeah.
came over from the strait from China, from Asia.
Hmm.
Yeah, some of those, but the ones that they pump up and push are the $5 Indians, the ones who people, the Europeans who came over here who might have been Italian or Scottish, who maybe had the olive and dark skin and it was able to buy themselves into a piece of uh the tribe. They assume that because of all the land benefits that was being given out during those times. So
Mm.
that's why they was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Just like do you remember that clip not too long ago they showed them putting a headdress on the Pope?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And people were
Oh yeah,
they were
that was
heated.
so disrespectful in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was so disrespectful in a lot of ways, in a whole lot of ways. But it's also pretty much giving the Catholic Church access to this land over here
Yeah.
by putting that headdress on him. You know what I'm saying? They
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
understand how deep that went. You
Hmm.
know, so like, yeah, we was always here, man. But the Entheogens is the one that just made me embrace myself and my heritage more. I
Hmm.
already knew my heritage. It made and helped me embrace myself more and my heritage more.
It's very interesting because when you were explaining about how, like, you went to prison, you were in the military, and PTSD, and all these different things, and I can only imagine all the things you've seen in the traumatic situations. Because, I tell people all the time, you know, I had PTSD from childhood and bad anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And once I know we talked about this before, but once somebody I was introduced to psilocybin mushrooms, like it went from like a 10 down to like a 2 or maybe a 1.
right.
And I
Yeah,
never
the
in my
anxiety is gone.
yeah, 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 even the flashbacks, all that stuff. And I never thought in the world, I'm telling you, Chief, I never thought in the world that stuff would ever go away or ever be manageable. I never thought so.
Right,
It's something
right.
as simple as sitting down and just something that's and just partaking in psilocybin mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? It just changed my life, man. So is that pretty
Yeah.
much the same thing? Was that the clean? How was your thing? Was it like a process as far as the iboga, and all three of them kind of that you? Yeah, what was
Well,
the
see, yeah.
process?
Well, I didn't start with the iboga. I started with ayahuasca first. So
Okay.
I sat with grandmother, and I exhausted grandmother. I'm talking about maybe a good 3 years of just sitting with grandmother as much as I could. Right.
Mhm.
Even even along the way, picked up a few teachers
Mhm.
from one from Guyana, one
Mhm.
from Peru, and one from Brazil. You know, saying some very powerful medicine men who've been doing this practice for some years. And so I sat with grandmother for like 3 years.
Gotcha.
I say a good 3 4 years. Exhausted her. I sat with her to a point where I was able to start journeying and getting information using ayahuasca, right?
Mm.
So when I say I exhausted her, I asked her as much as I could to the point she said, "You need to go to the mushrooms." She told ayahuasca
Yeah.
told me to start using psilocybin mushrooms because that's how much I had exhausted her, right? So once she did that, I went into I started doing my research on how to get some psilocybin mushrooms because I wasn't in depth in the grow process or any of that. I was kind of green them psilocybin mushrooms. I'm telling you, I I exhaust. Oh, another medicine that I used in conjunction with ayahuasca along that 3 year journey was Wachuma, San Pedro cactus.
Okay. Yeah.
The the mescaline. So that was the grandmother and then the grandfather aspect. They got me all the way together. You know, and after exhausting them, that's when I went to the mushrooms. And when I finally got my hands on some mushrooms, it was crazy. This how the universe like set me up. They like blowed me all the way out. So when I first when I first got access to psilocybin mushrooms, they was this was just I got in contact with this guy who stays in Washington State, and he was like, "Yeah, I got some mushrooms. I can sell you." So he sold me some. And he told me the names of them. They were Azuriensis, some of the
Mhm.
strongest mushrooms on the planet. You
Oh
know what I'm
wow.
saying? But me being green, I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even think to
Uh
even
oh.
look up the name
Uh oh.
when he told me, right?
Uh oh.
so
Where's this
so
going?
like my first time dealing with like the Azuriensis mushroom, I took like a standard, considered to be a standard dose in the cubensis family. This is
Yeah.
a whole nother species, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the
Yeah. Yeah.
cubensis family, a standard dose is considered to be 3.5, right?
Mhm.
In the Azuriensis family, a standard dose is like anywhere from zero point 0.5 to 1.5. Like that's
Good
equivalent to
gracious.
almost like yeah, that can be almost equivalent to 5 grams to or 8 grams of cubensis because the retention of psilocin is different. See,
Mm.
the average cubensis that most people take, the psilocin retention is maybe like 64%, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
In the Azuriensis, the psilocybin retention rate can be as high as 1.46.
Good gracious.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and they're smaller. They're a lot
Mhm.
smaller. They real small. So
Hmm.
you got a lot of silicon packed in a little small mushroom.
It's concentrated.
It's very concentrated,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
they grow from the earth. So it's like instant. But just to get back to the story, man, I got on those and it like they like
Mhm.
blew me open. I was thrusted into the ethers, to the
Yeah.
multiverse, the other dimensions, like at
Gotcha.
a very rapid rate. But I wasn't. It didn't terrify me because again, like I said, I had done a lot of extensive work with ayahuasca, which is also uh, rich in DMT. So it's pretty much the same as psilocybin. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
structure wise, they're very same. Or that's what psilocybin is. It's readily orally and active. in ingestible DMT, in
Yeah.
which in other cases you have to blend certain things and blend other plants together to be able to
Mm.
orally ingest DMT. With the mushrooms, it already comes for you to be able to pick it up and ingest it. It requires no alchemy. It's the only entheogen that requires no alchemy.
Wow.
You can
Yeah,
pick
cause
it
yeah,
and
cause
eat
like
it and get an
I know
experience.
that yeah, cause they're saying like iboga and ayahuasca, you have to like mix different plants
Yeah,
up, correct? Yeah.
yeah, right. Well,
So
iboga, you don't have to
mhm,
mix. You don't have to mix anything. Well, iboga is orally active too. You could just chew
okay,
on iboga bark and get the effect. So
okay,
that's another entheogen. I'm sorry, that's another entheogen that doesn't require any alchemy
okay,
as well.
gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But you could just peel the bark, put it in your mouth, let it sit, and yeah,
You know,
iboga is man,
mhm,
iboga serious.
I remember one of my first teachers, rest in peace, Chief Amachi. He
Oh yeah,
yeah, he was the one that actually got me on the path of Vadun. You know what I'm saying?
okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he was one that introduced. So it was real interesting because back then, because he was going back and forth to Africa all the time. He was learning all this stuff, and he'd come
yes,
back and I'd go, he'd be teaching me things, and
teach it right.
he one time he explained to me, he was just like, he had a whole bunch of sticks and stuff, right? And he was just like, you see, he's like, so look, you can take these sticks because they're plant matter, and you can use them a certain way, and this thing could be just as effective as a telephone. you know
Right,
and of course, and I'm just like, what in that, how, you know what I'm saying?
right,
but but later on it started making sense when I started listening to Baba Kalindi, you know
right.
and listen what he was saying about it, and I started to understand the connection, how all this natural stuff, this stuff, it's all technology. You know what I'm
All
saying?
of
But
it's technology.
yeah, well, but we'd rather you like have all this fancy smancy stuff making CERN machines. All you got to do is get melanated people around the circle. We just do the same thing, chant, and we can.
Do the exact same thing. You know
We
what I'm
don't need no
saying?
machine.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? But
right,
that's
we don't
real
need a
talk,
machine.
man.
We
But that's
we
real
are the
talk.
machine. Right.
Exactly.
We are the
Exactly.
machine.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
are part, like, we are we are the highest form of technology that has been
Yeah.
created.
Yeah. On the
You're right.
anthropomorphic
And then
on this physical plane.
right,
Yeah.
that has been created. And then
Hmm.
we are already interfaced with the higher form of technology, which is
Hmm.
nature,
Yeah.
right? Because
Exactly.
we didn't
Exactly.
create nature.
Hmm.
Did we create nature, right?
Hmm.
We didn't create nature, so it's a higher form of technology than us.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. It's evolving every nanosecond, every centosecond.
Hmm.
Nature is evolving. You know,
Hmm.
it's doing something right. Like right now, as we speaking, nature's doing something. You're like,
It's interesting you say that because I was talking. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody I was talking to, one of the last ones, but we were saying like the how we're like the when the gods, so to speak, walk the earth, and all these deities and the tarot, kachinas, whatever the case may be, when these beings
right,
were at this high level, it's like all we were tapping into our highest self as being a part of
right,
nature. You know what I mean?
right.
And quite simply, all we did is we forgot that.
That's
You know
it.
what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because of the cycles of time and whatever the case may be,
Yes,
but we just forgot it. But it's inevitable that
that's
we're going
it.
to remember it again.
That's it.
And what you said, I think, is very key because you said that once you took I'm assuming it was, I think you said it was the mushrooms, if I'm mistaken. But
Right,
you started to when you started to remember, and you just started making a headdress. You know,
right.
look, I mean, just listen to that connection. That's amazing to me. But
Yeah, yeah. It was amazing. Listen, I'm still amazed. I am still amazed that I myself created this. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? Like,
hmm
for real, that I did this. It still amazes me every time I look at it. I put it on. It really does amaze me. You
yeah.
know. And then once I got heavily into the mushrooms, right? And I was
Hmm.
talking to some people, and one of my friends, he was like, "Man, you sound like this guy Baba Kalindi. You know Baba Kalindi?" I was like, Nah, I ain't never really I had never heard of Baba
Yeah,
Kalindi.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I was holding mushroom ceremonies, doing San Pedro ceremonies. I was doing ceremonies and stuff with these medicines. I had never heard of Baba Kalindi. So once I
Hmm.
researched him and got on him, man, he
Yeah,
blew my mind, and he
yeah, man.
motivated me even more to to go
Exactly,
harder. Like I thought I
exactly,
was going
exactly.
hard. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was going hard. Man, I was like,
He
yeah.
he
And
actually
after
gave
me
me.
getting
I'm
a
sorry.
chance to meet him, he taught
Hmm.
me how to grow. You know, I
Yeah.
went to one of his grow classes that he had in Mount Krogan. This is I my life is full of so many like just moments that bring things together. It's like my
Yeah,
higher self manifested me, right? So
yeah.
it's this sort of like ashram that I volunteered at for like 2 months, right?
Hmm.
Baba Kalindi actually came to that ashram and did a grow class,
Wow.
right? Right. Like, what's the chances of that? So, and
Exactly.
then they had and after the grow class, at the end of the 3 days of the grow, or the 2 days of the grow class, we did a mushroom ceremony. That was my first time doing 9 grams of mushrooms.
Oh,
Was with
wow.
yeah, was with Baba Kalindi, and he had me being a firekeeper because I was the only one familiar with the grounds. Like
Mm.
like how crazy is that? You know what I'm saying? And this is my first time meeting him,
Hmm.
right?
Wow.
That was my very first time meeting him, and we had good conversation, and we talked. And man, he inspired me to do a lot more. And I've met Baba several times and had
Yeah,
been able
yeah.
to have a good conversation with him. You know what I'm saying, before he transitioned. So I'm
Yeah,
very very thankful of that as well.
yeah. Shout out to Ori because he's the one that introduced me to to Baba Clinton. We had that event at Sadiq's, and I was able to to talk with that. That's the first time I met the brother. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of, I was gonna say earlier that he gave me the confidence to keep on pushing
Yeah, man.
through.
Hell yeah.
He gave me the confidence to keep on pushing to say, okay, he's up in this high level. He's still here walking, talking, doing this thing. It's like it might be a battle like anything else, but hey man, this is living proof that what I'm saying, you just keep on rolling, and not be
Right.
and know there's gonna be challenges, but not be fearful and just roll with it,
Right.
man. And I think that's a very important thing. And I think that kind of actually stuck in my subconscious, and even more so the more and more, I plan on elevating, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And
So uh,
I want to give thanks to another ancestors, because like
uh,
before I ran into Baba Kalindi, I never got a chance to meet her, but along my journey and my information and study, Maria Sambina came up. You
okay.
know what I'm saying? So, uh,
Ah,
yeah, we a lot of us wouldn't know anything about the psilocybin as far as in the
yeah.
United States if it wasn't for Maria Sambina and the work that she did. Caused by me being a medicine man and holding a lot of ceremonies, and that was her work. She did a lot of healing work using the psilocybin mushrooms. Baba's work was more on the hand of exploration and bringing back information
Mm,
and technology,
gotcha.
right? So that's how my worlds parallel.
Mm-hmm.
The healing aspect, and then also
Yeah.
like my headdress, the technology and the knowledge aspect and the exploration aspect. So I always like to give honor and respect to the work that Maria Sambiner did as a healer with the psilocybin mushrooms.
Y'all, if you don't know her, and that's the sister in Mexico, correct?
Yes, Oaxaca, Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know her
Uh,
personally, but
Yeah,
Oaxaca,
yeah,
Mexico.
yeah. The only reason I know about it because I watched this documentary, I think 2 weeks ago, on Netflix. It's same. I think it was like how you change your mind or something like that. And if
Oh
anybody is
yeah.
not really, yeah, if anybody's not familiar with psilocybin mushrooms, the entheogens, that actually is a pretty good documentary to watch because they go in on a lot of things and actually historical aspects of it. And not only that, but you would be surprised of how many people that back then that were introduced to psilocybin mushrooms made big impact on modern day things like
On modern day,
alcohol.
on
Yeah,
tech, yeah, right.
like the guy from Alcohol Anonymous. I can't remember his name, but they said that
Yes,
he started
yes,
it after he had a trip.
right.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I, I want to kind of go back a little bit because it's really
Okay.
interesting because I remember back in the '90s when Dr. York was talking about the Yamasee, and he was breaking down. He was talking about the Native American aspects. Of course, it was all new to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Chief Maku, I saw the headdress on and stuff like, you know, and I started doing my own research of, Yamasee, and it didn't make sense because I was always so used to when you see the native, the story that we're always told about Native American stuff. But
Right.
you know, it's real interesting because that book I was talking to you earlier about, let's set the record straight. When it started connecting things about all these different things, these are stories. Going back to what we were saying earlier, this is information, Native American information that most of us have no clue about, and it's
Yeah.
sitting there right in front of us. But
Yeah.
what could you kind of give a history of the Yamasee Native Americans? The best as
Well,
you can.
the Yamasee,
Mhm.
traditionally we called ourselves Jama, the
Okay.
Yamasee. They the ones that started calling us Yamasee. We just adopted the name Yamasee.
Okay.
But traditionally we are the Jama with the J,
Chama.
the
Okay.
Yamasee, the Yamasee, right? And the Yamasee was pretty much the uh the head, I guess you would say, the main tribe of the
Mhm.
whole of this whole territory. So we started the
Yeah.
Confederacy.
Mhm.
The Confederacy, we already had a Confederacy and a democracy with the
Mhm.
Yamasee. That's where they got that from. When they talk about the Confederate, we already had a Confederacy, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
which mainly consists of the territories from Tennessee down to Louisiana,
Mhm.
including Florida and all the islands, like the Taino. See, you start getting the splits of tribes is when you started having other people come over here and mix with us, and then they
Mhm.
branch off and start a tribe. See, because
Mm.
we wasn't a warring people, we didn't mind like if you wanted to come over here and mingle and you follow our ways and blend in with us. We just
Mhm.
we didn't put you in far as the main tribe, but you started establishing like sub tribes up under the Yamasee. And then when that started happening, that's when they started, you know, land territories, treaties, like we all like democracy, treaties, land territory, and all that stuff. How they started separating and calling things states. Like they got that information or that's pretty much technology. They got that from us. How we was
Mm.
already governing ourselves when they came over here,
Mhm.
right? So that's kind of the a little bit of the history. Again, I wish my chief Maku could like rattle it down. He could tell you from like back from the 800s. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
That's
See,
that's it. But
people always want to start with like 1700s or
yeah,
1600. Man, go back like what about 1800? Like 500? Like we was already living and established over here by the
it
millions
yeah,
before
exactly.
they got
It's
here.
interesting because I think we talked about this before. I like to travel. I've been to a couple ancient sites around here, and it kind of, and this can kind of segue into the next question. Kind of dealing with the Olmecs, right? And I shout
Yeah.
out to the good brother Lavelle. He gave me he gave me a PDF that was like breaking the whole thing down with the Mayans being connected to they called the Mayans, but really it was the Olmecs, and going on.
Olmecs, right,
Guys, yeah,
right.
yeah, and
Mayans, Incas,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, and it's
yeah,
interesting to me that statement you just said because when I was over there in Teotihuacan specifically, I was talking to people and they were saying like they actually found those pyramids in Teotihuacan and they were already covered up. So
yeah, they were already covered up.
yeah, yeah. So they were already there way before those people found it and
Yeah,
started. Yeah. So going back to what you're saying about us being here and just populating the whole globe and just the timeline. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing.
right,
I was in New York once years ago on one of how you take the tours and you ride around. You know what I'm saying? This was probably in
right,
the early 2000s, and it was real interesting to me because one of the ladies said in New York, up in New York, one of the oldest artifacts that was found in America was quote unquote African. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
obviously, it wouldn't have been. I mean, I doubt it was African. It was about Native American. But my point
right,
is that the timeline, just like we were saying earlier, the timeline of American, all this stuff happened. Not all of the world is. is unless you really dig deep,
You dig
it's
into it, unless you really
yeah,
dig into it, it's distorted. Yeah,
very well distorted, and it's pushed way
it's
forward.
very, very distorted. Especially
Hmm
the Smithsonian controlling the timeline, so it's very, very distorted. You know what I'm saying?
And in the
It's
religious people in the religious books try to put in that time
right,
frame that is absolutely
right. That's what I'm saying. They
asinine.
working hand in hand with the Smithsonian. That's why the Smithsonian have to be on hand, and they publish everything. They click.
Hmm
They bouncing all the stuff, all their findings off one another, so it can clear this certain timeline.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Like just like when they came over here and started, like when they first came over here and they started excavating, they found it. Man, you know how many? Like this is the land of the giants.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
how many giants? That's why
hmm
that's why
I seen them.
right. Right. This is the land of the giants. They was finding so many burial graves of giants. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they don't put that in. They don't put that in the timeline because that's
Mm-mm.
gonna disrupt things.
Yep, yep.
How you think? How you think we were doing all these things? We were giants, man.
Hmm Yeah, it's interesting you say that because dealing like with, and this is going a different scientific realm. It's real interesting because I've read in different places is because of the different time frames that we were in, the type of environment in when we were in, especially as melanated beings, how the sun
Mhm.
would help make us grow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Into these bigger things because of the time frame, and you know what I'm saying. So
Right.
it's not so
The
far
sun.
fetched.
We're like the we're like animated trees. We're just
Yeah,
like the trees.
yeah,
So the sun,
exactly,
they make
exactly.
us grow like this.
Yeah,
Our skin, just like this. The green
chlorophyll.
on the chlorophyll. Right. It makes
Hmm
us grow.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense because like the more, the more and more, and it's interesting that you said we talk about chlorophyll because they say back in the day we were green, we weren't even brown,
We were
we got
green.
rust in it. Yeah,
Right. Right. We were
the
green.
Jolly Green Giant. How about that?
Exactly. Where you think they got it from?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's
Even
interesting.
Usar. Look at Usar. Usar is
Sorry.
green.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. It's so much. Y'all people. I'm telling you, man. Now is the day and time. The age of Aquarius. That the information is out. You know what I'm saying? Turn
Right.
off the boob
And if you
tube.
want
Do your research.
and if you really want to know a lot of information, man, use the entheogens, right? Because the
Yes.
plants have been here.
Yes.
The
Yes.
plants are a living intelligence, right?
Mhm.
And they have
Mhm.
a lot to share with us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I say the plants, I'm talking about mainly the entheogens.
Yeah.
Those those plants that are help alter your state of consciousness and put you in these other realms. That's where you tap into information. That's how I fact check Google,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So a
Exactly.
lot of times when I'm researching things now, and if something may resonate with me and I want to double check it, I go use either the mushrooms or smoke some DMT. I check with my own Akashic records using the plants because the all the coding is written inside of me. And some of these plants, they have the information and coding written on side of
Yeah.
them because they've been here.
They've been here. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Right.
interesting because I always think that now at the
Crystals.
point that yeah, exactly. Now I think now with when I say to my point is like when people talk about ancient times and being able to verify information, it's like it's two things, man. Like you said, go inside yourself or go to some of these cats like the Dogons or some of these different secret societies that have been there and
Societies,
has
right,
passed it down. Don't go anywhere else because they don't know.
right. They don't know.
No. They don't got a clue. They
No,
they
they don't.
they just study and try to figure the stuff out, but they don't
That's
have
it.
no clue.
No, they don't have a real clue. So no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. So now I know that, but as far as now, what do you do now? Like for the people who don't know, what do you do now as far as like what the travels that you've done, the learning, where did could you kind of go through that process and how it got you are where you
Okay,
are right
so
now?
yeah, so all my journey and all my cleaning up of myself, it pretty
Hmm
much led me to the place of administering medicine and holding sacred space for people, especially people of color,
hmm
because when I first got into this, we didn't have a lot of spaces that were facilitated by us. And as
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just that, you know, that's part of our healing is having to get over a lot of the trauma that was created
Mm-hmm.
from our counterparts. Not to say it was them, but their ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So the medicines just would like pretty much say, hey, yeah, open your doors up, allow people to come in. You've set with this medicine. You've trained with reputable medicine people from this. See, and I want to say this too, because it was really when I got into doing these medicines and got back in touch with myself, they pretty much told me like these medicines are ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people like a lot of people, they'll look at me and be like, well, ayahuasca isn't of your heritage. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The north part of America would just cut off and put to sleep on certain aspects, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
of using different medicines. But yes, it is.
Yeah.
Those people are melanated just like I am. So why
Yeah.
wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
I built the bridge. I built the bridge. I took myself through the necessary processes. I did all these things myself. I'm not a fly by night medicine man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
who tried these things a couple of times, went to one retreat, and now I'm out here serving somebody.
Yeah.
I got to this place by getting doing a level of work on myself and
Mm-hmm.
healing a certain aspect of myself. And the
Mm-hmm.
medicines said, hey, now present these things to your people.
Mm.
Allow your people to experience this because they need healing. I didn't pick this as a job. I was a
Yeah. Yeah.
cosmetologist. I was a cosmetologist for 18 years.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So it shook my world up from that. Yeah, you can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I was making good money as a hairstylist. You know what I'm saying? Doing
Mm-hmm.
ladies' hair. I did that for 18 years. So
Mm.
I didn't I did I wasn't thinking about doing any of this. Being a medicine man, I wasn't thinking about this. Like some people now, it's fad now. Everywhere you look up, everybody wants to say, "Oh yeah, I'm serving medicine. Oh yeah, I'm holding retreats. Oh yeah, I'm doing this," because they see the capital in it. But when I started doing this, before me and you could be on YouTube, me and you, back when I started this, me and you couldn't be sitting here you on YouTube talking about this,
Yeah. Exactly.
especially ayahuasca. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was forbidden.
Yeah.
You know, but the times have changed. So I've been doing this for over a decade. I've opened my doors up to people, helping people, wanting to provide a safe space. Because of my experiences with it, I kind of understood that, especially when it comes to integration, which is another big part of doing these things, is how do you integrate these things in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because of my culture and I am in the culture, I'm able to relate more to our people when it comes to doing these medicines in these sacred spaces. So
Yeah.
like when we integrate, I can kind of relate what you're going through. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Versus like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I first started doing this, imagine me sitting with this Peruvian guy trying to relate and get him to understand some things that's just culturally different. Like he don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I wanted to bridge these medicines as far as providing a space for us and providing the proper integration for us as well. Because our integration, I didn't have that. I didn't have the luxury. Like you hear a lot of people now talking about integration. I didn't have that luxury. I
Mm-hmm.
had to figure a lot of things out for myself. It was a lot of on the job training
Yeah.
along the way when I started this.
A lot of trial and error, right? You got to get your
Yeah,
hands dirty.
yeah.
You got to get your hands dirty,
You
right?
got
You
to get
just
your
can't.
hands dirty, and it still is on the job training. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
learn something every time because every time I take somebody on a journey, it's different. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I go on a journey myself, it's completely different. So
Yeah.
you're always constantly learning. You never stop learning. It's always
Mm-hmm.
on the job training. You never can say, "Hey, I got it." There's no cookie cutter sheet integration
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. Yeah, you can have a foundation on which you uh, point and direct people, but each and every integration I have done for somebody has been different because everybody's fingerprint is different. Is it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah,
and the way that their mindset when they go into it obviously would it would influence, which direction they go once they go in that. I'm assuming. Now, um, quick question. Um,
yeah.
once, and this is something I'm starting to realize, but once you go on these trips, specifically with psilocybin mushrooms, and you remember those old Freddy Krueger movies when Freddy Krueger, when if you went to dream, he could mop you up. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? He could kill you. You know, because
right,
he was a ruler of the dreams. But people started
right,
realizing they're dreaming that had power inside of the dreams. You know, remember later off in the movies,
correct,
they started beating Freddy Krueger up. So on these
right,
trips, right? On these trips, it
yeah,
seems to me, and maybe you can kind of elaborate more, but it seems like the more you are of conscious and aware of you going traversing, as I like to call it, into these
mhm.
different dimensions, it doesn't it aid you more on doesn't help you, yeah, it doesn't it seems like it aids you in that specific time frame to be able to navigate better once you are aware once you're there. Does that make sense?
It yeah, I mean, it's like pretty much you're gaining your stripes, so you're getting
uh
more comfortable, you're getting more
okay.
familiar. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I kind of get what you understand. And yeah, it does. You gain the more you do it, you do gain a lot more experience as far as how to
experience.
navigate. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And it's just not only that.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to tell people like before I got into any psychedelics, I had other foundations. Like I engulfed myself heavily into the meta nature. You know what I'm
Oh, okay.
saying?
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I was heavily into Kundalini yoga. I was
Mm,
heavily into the Taoist practice. Like I've been practicing semen retention for over 10 years as well. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? Studied out of the Taoist traditions,
Yeah.
practicing breathing techniques using from the Kundalini yoga
Mm,
traditions. You know what I'm saying? Meditations and sounds and different aspects they talk about, and that's also in the meta nature. So
mm-hmm.
like the meta nature just isn't a read. The meta nature is a practice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, because it's so intensive, a lot of people get bored and they get out of it. They don't really dive themselves into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is because I was just coming out of prison. I had a certain discipline. I read a lot of books. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? And my mate, she turned me on to a lot of different other information. I was one of those people. I was dive myself into it. I might sit in the corner and read a book 3 days.
Yeah.
Like one of those type,
Yeah.
and actually practice what the work the workbooks and the work shops and the homework and the things, the physical things that they used to actually give you in these books. I actually did. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't get into the actual practice of these. They want to talk about these things, but have you actually got into the practice of them? I'm
Mm-hmm.
one of those deep divers. I got into the practice on a lot of things before I was even into the addiction. So these practices that I was in help help me a lot to navigate when I was going on these journeys. You know what I'm saying? Having breathing techniques, having a
Yeah,
certain mindset.
I can see that.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Having a certain conscious mindset of who I was and what I was into. That did help me on a lot of my journeys, as opposed to somebody who had no knowledge of, say, the occult sciences and mysticism
Mm-hmm.
and any of that. Like then, a lot of those people do have very, very difficult times when they journey because they don't have a foundation. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and other tools. I kind of started Entheogens with some tools in my tool bag already.
That makes perfect
So
sense
it's always
because
yeah,
it's literally like you said, tools in your tool bag. You know what I'm saying? If you're driving out, you got a
right,
flat tire. If you ain't got no tools, you
right.
ass out of luck. But if you got some tools, you can just fix it. That makes
Yeah, you
perfect
can
sense.
fix it, or you can navigate a little bit better through the situation. So I'm a cyclist, so it's like once I got into heavily cycling, I had to buy myself a tool bag that go on my
Yeah.
bike because
Anybody?
you get far out, you can't, you stuck without there without the tools. Then what? It's same thing with psychedelics. You
Yeah.
get stuck out there without some tools, and
Yeah.
man, you will probably there was a lot of those people that be running back to Jesus.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah. Because they get
Like I ain't
freaked
doing
out.
that no more.
Yeah. They get
Right.
freaked out. Um. You know what's one thing that really interests me about the whole experience is like because of the multi levels, the multiverse, whatever you want to call it, the different dimensions that you can traverse.
Right.
It's so interesting because once you come back here in this third dimension, it's like an anchor. This place is like an anchor, you know what I mean? Or even almost like a prison because it's
Yeah.
like it's like you it's just pulling you back for this you know what I'm saying? It's like get back here. You're not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just really interesting because the seeing how this third dimension well I mean just like I said it just seems like a prison more so than anything else because we have so much more senses and things around us but we can only see this third dimension you know
Well, I ain't gonna say it's a prison. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Because it's it may feel like a prison because of
hmm
the system that they've put us in,
true that
right?
true that
But this is heaven.
yeah yeah
this,
yeah
this
yeah
this place is truly heaven because
yeah
this place we can manifest whatever we can imagine.
I agree the world
This
like you
place,
said the world is different than nature I'm with you I'm with you
right? We can manifest anything that we want on
yeah
in this world here. You know
gotcha
what I'm saying? It's yeah,
hmm
this system may make have you feeling like you're in a prison,
yeah
but when you get higher and conscious of thinking, then the narrative and your perceptions start to shift. You know what I'm
yeah
saying? I live in
mm.
two different worlds. Like it'd be a lot of things going on in people world. I'd be like, I, I ain't on that algorithm.
Nah,
You know
nah,
what I'm
nah,
saying?
nah,
Like
nah.
I really be trying to figure out like what are y'all talking about? Like,
I
man, this
when
world is beautiful.
yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And a good example is like when all the heebie-jeebie scare happened with all, that stuff and people, it's like I always thought about like if you didn't watch TV, you out in the country, you didn't watch TV, this stuff it didn't
You
affect
would
you at all.
it didn't.
Yeah, because you're in nature, like you said, nature, you're in nature, part of
Right.
nature. The world is the one that's having all this nonsense. Makes
Right.
perfect sense.
Do you think the worm, man, I could go in my backyard, dig the ground up and see worms. Do you think that worm was worried about goddamn COVID?
Yeah. Shoot, shoot.
I was seeing birds. I seen birds every day flying
Yeah,
from tree to tree. I see squirrels jumping from tree to tree. Do you think they were giving a damn about some COVID?
I know.
Like nature wasn't giving a damn about none of this system that these people created.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
the
exactly.
time is to reconnect with nature in every aspect. Go sit in nature, consume nature, talk to
Exactly.
nature, consult with nature because nature has been here. Nature can tell us. Nature will give it all the answers, especially women.
Yeah,
Black
exactly.
women, it is your
Exactly.
time to get and sit
Yes.
and consult with nature.
Yes.
The men, it's our time to clear the path.
hmm
Make sure that path stays cleared for the matriarch to return to
Indeed.
power.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying?
And also stay in nature. Create. Men,
hmm
create. Tap into your imagination and create.
I think that that's so powerful what you said, man. And even when I was saying earlier about just how, yeah, and you're right. It's not this world they can try to trap you in your mind inside the prison if you allow them, but all you got to do is step outside of that. You know what I'm saying? And
You step
it's
outside
just
of that.
yeah, it's just the glory. It's a like you
See,
said, it's heaven. You're right,
that's what I'm
man.
saying. I was built for this. Like
Yeah.
my higher self, my higher self put me through things and built for this. See, I was locked up in the military and I was locked up in free world too. When
hmm
I was locked up in the military, right, I was in a 3x9 cell, a 3x9 cell, where I could reach this way and touch both walls, and then I could stretch
Mm.
my arms out all the way the other way. But this way I could touch both walls like a 3x9 cell. So I had practice of sitting with myself. I had
Mm.
practice of unfreeing my mind from a prison. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm saying. Before I got into Entheogens, I had a bunch of tools in my toolbox
Gotcha.
already. I always encourage people put some tools in your toolbox before you go trying to dive into these things
Yeah.
because the tools will save you. I didn't even know I was building a toolbox. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But because my life situations, I have so much life reserve and situations to draw from that can get me through situations
You were being
that a
initiated
lot of
the whole
people don't
time.
have.
You were being
Yeah, I've
initiated.
been initiated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Piece by
been
piece.
just getting initiated the
Yep.
whole time. The
Yep.
whole time. You
And
know
it
what I'm
all
saying?
came
The whole
together,
time.
right? It all came together. You're
Right.
like, God
All came
dang.
together. Right. Even the aspect of me, I was a drug dealer for 7 years. I slung
Yeah.
dope for 7 years till I got
Mm-hmm.
locked up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So even the aspect of being in the community, slanging harm. Now look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the community, like
Healing
giving
harm.
out healing people. You know what I'm saying? Like doing my penance. It's like my. That's what I'm saying. I didn't choose this. This is like my penance.
Yeah.
Like from
Yeah.
me doing all the harm and evil, singing,
Mm-hmm.
selling dope, robbing people. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
was that guy. I was a
Mm-hmm.
knucklehead, bro. I was a knucklehead. I went to the military to. I went to the military to keep from going to jail, and
Mm.
in the military still end up going to jail.
Mm.
That's my story, bro. So it was like they put me through some things. For
They said
real. My
the
higher self
cosmic
was like,
setup. Somebody said a cosmic
yo,
setup. You're right.
man. Yeah,
You're right
yo,
about
it was
that.
a cosmic setup. It was like jokes on you.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful, man. And it's I applaud you. Kudos to you and all these different healers. And I was talking about, like I was talking to Adara and all the other cats, Oi, all these people, because like it's amazing to me because it's like we're back. You know what I mean? All
We
that
back.
stuff, like you said, we
We
back.
back.
You know what I'm
The
saying? We
X-Men are
back.
back, baby.
We
We talk
yeah,
about the superheroes, the Jedi.
yeah.
We here, yo.
We here, yo,
We
for real,
here.
man. You know what I'm saying? And when we have, and I always just like you were saying earlier, you know what I'm saying, giving props to our ancestors because we were never. It's like we were never ever, especially here in America, going back to time, we were never ever left alone. We always had these wonderful master teachers to show us
Right.
up until this day and
Right.
time. You know what I'm
No, we
saying?
still we still here. I'm one of them.
Yeah,
That was one message that they told me. Like you an ancestor now.
yeah,
The ancestors.
exactly.
I mean, an elder now, not an ancestor.
Elder.
You an elder now. Our
Hmm.
elder just like our lifespan has gotten shorter. Our
Yeah,
eldership has gotten younger.
yeah,
It just
yeah.
done. It just has changed. We're looking. We're trying to. Nothing stays the same. Everything's changed. So we're
Evolve.
still trying to hold on to this perception of what an elder looks like.
Hmm.
I am an elder at this point.
It's interesting you say that because even though you're what you went through, because you can't put a age or a number on that experience. You know what I'm
On
saying?
experience. You
Yeah, you
can't.
can't you
You
can't
can't
you
put an
can't
age
do
on
that.
experience.
No, no.
No.
So that would make perfect sense because it's
Right.
been there, done that.
Just like my sister Acacia, she has the knowledge of an elder, does she not?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. She's
Definitely.
not
Yeah,
an elder in age, but
she
does she
mad
have?
young,
She
but
got
she
the
got it.
information. She got the information and the experience of one,
Yeah, man, I love talking to
and
her,
can
boy.
teach and tell you some things that as one could. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Exactly. We
like
back. We
we have
back.
to
That's
get.
it.
Yeah, we just back, and we coming
Hmm.
in different shapes, sizes, colors, ages.
Hmm.
Like we back, yo. I
Hmm.
learn from my kids all the time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, man. And and it's it all of this stuff it's all now because of this day and time. It's all making sense, man. And it's so funny to me. It's like you were saying earlier about when we were talking about them talking about heebie-jeebies and COVID, all this stuff. And like to me, I thought the whole thing was hilarious to me personally, just because
Yeah, it's
I
funny.
looked at it. I looked at it like you said earlier. I looked at it from a perspective of, something, you know, there's something behind us all. So I'm just not believing anything of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not talking about,
Right.
yeah, I just, it's just living outside the world, it's a lot different than being in it. I guess that's the easiest way you can put it. You know,
Exactly.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, you
The-
know, and oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. You better say something.
No, no, I was gonna say that.
Oh, I know you said your Maku would be a little more equipped for this. But I kind of want to talk about this in as much information you can. Could you kind of explain to the people how people that look like you as Native Americans having the headdress on and living this type of life in America, how we went from being Yamasee, and next thing you know, we call Negro or slaves. You know what I'm saying? Could you kind of build on that at all?
Oh, you talking about the being pencil genocide? How
Yeah,
they
there you
killed
go.
us
Perfect.
off? Through,
Perfect.
yeah,
Please. Please.
they just killed us off with the pen, and also we were betrayed. See now,
Hmm.
this is what one people have to understand, and this is something that I've been trying to address within my journeys. Um, and actually trying to hunt down this energy. It's the energy of this, like this Judas energy, this
Hmm.
betrayal energy, this infiltration energy.
Black devil energy.
That's right. That's how they are able to infiltrate us and get us.
Hmm.
We were sold out by the when they say the five recognized tribes.
Hmm.
Those five nationally recognized tribes. Those
Hmm.
tribes sold us out.
Mm.
Those were the tribes that was accepted the indoctrination of like Christianity and all that stuff,
Mm.
right? So once you get sold out, hey, look through history at what happened
Yeah.
to the people that get sold out.
Yeah. Now they're the enemy, and they're the enemy, and they got to get
That's a
rid of them.
short story. That's like to put it all together without giving you such a history lesson. We were sold out.
Yeah. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like everybody on this pretty much, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but everybody on this nation that were under different tribal names, etc., and they go from all these titles in which they were indigenous. The pen is the thing that turned them into Negroes and quote unquote
And
slaves.
to Negroes, to color, to
Yeah.
black, African American, it was through the pen that that erased us. And then once like they was making people, if you didn't say that you was this and that, you was going to prison and locking people up. You know what I'm saying? So you
Hmm.
had to say that you was Negro. You
Yeah.
had
And
to claim these things because people. This was out of survival. See, a lot of our people put aside their ways out of survival,
yeah. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So to say that they should have fought for that. No, we wouldn't have been. We probably wouldn't have been here because they
Yeah.
probably would have tried to annihilate us,
Hmm.
right? So for us to still to be here, they did a lot of things out of survival. They went along out of survival. You
Hmm.
know, yeah, you do have those stories of people who uprised and what I'm saying, killed massa, but the majority of them, it wasn't that they were scared. They had a higher understanding. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's still coming from a higher understanding.
Sit back and chill. Sit back and chill. Ain't your time. Sit back and chill.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the present day want to look back then with our now perception and say they should what they should have did, what they should have like you can't
Yeah.
you can't do that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
type of dude I am now, I'll be like, man, they never did that shit to me. I don't know that.
Yeah. Exactly. You might have been the
I
main. You
don't
might have
know
been
that.
the main. You might have been the main person telling everybody to chill. Listen, man, we're
To
gonna
chill
take
the
this.
fuck out. We gonna
Yeah, we're
get
gonna
through
take
this.
this. We're gonna go over here.
Or I might have been a Harriet Tubman type or a Nat Turner type. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But though no type was wrong.
Yeah.
Those
Exactly.
who chose not to fight back aren't any different
Hmm.
than
And the
those
ones
who
that
chose
did.
to fight back.
Yeah.
Both require a level amount of strength and courage.
The
They both do.
brother. Yeah, brothers like you and sisters like you that are talking about this aspect because I know this is a hot topic right now going online, and I think it's a topic that really needs to be talked about, and the narrative or the information cannot go away. This is something, this is our heritage we're talking about, you know what I'm saying? And this is something that you were not told about. And if if you're watching this, you want to learn more, you need to do the research. You know what I'm saying? This stuff that we're talking about, this is, you can go anywhere and read it. It's not, this is,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
it's real Native American history.
yeah,
And,
it's
and they
real
call it,
history.
they
This is
call it,
real information. Real.
yeah, it ain't nothing, no one making this up. They like to call it, they literally called, and the Chattahoochee River. up near
Uh-huh.
it's up near Sandy Springs up there, right? There's
Right.
a little place where you can walk around, next to the river, right? I'm not sure if you've been there or not, but
Yeah, I know
um,
what you're talking about.
yeah. Did you ever read those plaques that they have when you walk around it? Did you read some of the
Some of
plaques?
them.
Okay,
Yeah, some of
but
them.
it's real interesting because one of the plaques specifically, and if you're in Atlanta and you up there, if you look at them, they talk about the Trail of Tears, because and they
Right.
talk about the Trail of Tears, and I'm thinking like, oh, all the stuff that I've learned about Trail of Tears, but they talk about the Trail of Tears, but they also talk about the people on the Trail of Tears were prehistoric people.
Right.
Think about that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Think about that. Think
Right.
about that for a second. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They took a Native American quote unquote Indian story, but at the same time, and y'all can go up there and look at it yourself, and they call them prehistoric. Think about that now when you're dealing with, ancient indigenous people that look like you. You know what I mean?
Right.
They
They want
try
to
to
say
hide
that.
it.
They want to say that we. They want to say that we died off.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah, that's
is
what they want to say. They died off. Like how?
yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, um,
Yeah.
man. So
But
you ain't,
I want to get the people out of get. I'm tired of people arguing like we from here. We know that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Now what we do? You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
from
yeah,
this
yeah.
planet. Stop saying we from here. That's what I'm saying. I'm past saying that I'm from here. I'm from
Mhm,
this planet.
mhm.
And then after that, I'm from another solar system. I'm from another planet. Because they came from and seeded this planet. You see what I'm saying?
I agree with you
So how
100%.
far you want to keep going to say where you from? Because
Mhm.
I can keep going and say where I'm from. I ain't even from here if you want to say that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with 100%.
We start
I don't even
yeah.
think terrestrially no more. I think extraterrestrially, 100%. You know what I'm
Extraterrestrially,
saying? Yeah.
multiversal, like
Mhm.
man, listen. The ether, the melanin is the most
Mhm.
dominant thing throughout the
Mhm.
multiverse, is it not?
Dark matter, man. Dark matter.
Dark matter. We
You know what I'm
are
saying?
everywhere and
Mhm.
nowhere at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So stop. So get out. Let's get out of this. Where we from, man? Let's talk about
Mhm.
where we going. Let's evolve and
Exactly.
elevate. Let's
Exactly. Because
evolve and elevate.
that's the day and time we are. Because it's
Yeah,
interesting. I was listening to Bobby Hemmett once, and he was just like, he was breaking it down. He was like, yo, he was like, and even the sister Mara, I was listening to her one time, but they were like, yo, the worst part of all the stuff that we heard in history, it's a wrap. It's done. The change, we can moving forward now. You know what I'm saying? We
right.
don't have to keep looking back. And I mean, we can,
No,
acknowledge it, but nah, man, move forward. We got to move forward.
let's keep going. Let's keep
Yeah,
moving forward. We gonna not. Once I acknowledge who I am, I ain't got to keep acknowledging who I am. I already know who I am. Now what? You know what I'm saying? Now what?
yeah, yeah. But if that is such a true fact, man, because and that's another thing. The more we embrace who we are on the extraterrestrial tip, and once you start really, really seeing where we came from, ain't nobody studying none of this little talk we talk about now. It's way deeper than this. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
way deeper, man. So
It's
it's
way deeper.
so bigger than this little talk right here,
Yeah,
yo. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
way
yeah,
bigger.
yeah.
That's why I'm encouraging people. Hey, build your tool bag up.
Exactly.
Get on these entheogens.
Mhm.
Do your healing. Get
Mhm.
past your healing. Start exploring. Bringing
Mhm.
back technologies. Bringing back
Yeah.
new technologies. Bringing back
Mhm.
information that's gonna help evolve us. You know what I'm saying? As
Mhm.
a species, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Such as just as nature, constantly evolving, not
Yeah.
devolving.
Mhm.
Bringing back information and technologies that's going to help evolve us. Like what me and you doing now is cool, but these phones and things, man, this shit has devolved us, yo.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
We was communicating across the world and then had none of this.
Mhm.
Still had natural tech, had
Exactly. Nature. Yep.
using nature to do exactly what me and you doing right now,
Yeah.
using nature.
Yeah. And even having the know-how to build giant stone antennas to get messages. You know what I'm saying? Not even
Right.
what I'm saying, having that
Generating free power
technology
around the world.
all
Man, we
around the world.
generating free power around the world.
You know what I'm saying?
With
So yeah,
nature, with natural material, not
it
destroying not nature to
Mm-hmm.
get a piece of technology. Like
Mm-hmm.
using nature, understanding that nature is technology. We're just
Yeah.
gonna arrange it and use it for what we need it for. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Like that movie, The Avatar. Like the movie. Remember the movie, The Avatar, when they the blue
Yeah,
people, they were all just dealing with all the technology was all
right,
natural. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
All natural. What they was doing, linking up to the nature, linking up
To
to the
nature,
plants,
to the
communicating with
to,
the
to the
animals.
roots, right? taking their
Yeah, to
taking
the
their
roots,
taking their
man.
dreadlocks, right? Taking their dreadlocks and then connecting with the
Hey,
trees and
that story is about us.
exactly. Yep, it is. It sure
They
is,
just
man.
painted them blue instead of green or brown.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Amazing, man. So what you got? Because you're in Atlanta. So what do you got going on? What is the best way people can contact you for some of your ceremonies and rituals and stuff? Are you doing them now?
Yes, well, yes. I got back to a lot of traditional work, doing a lot of private ceremonies,
Mm-hmm.
small couples. I mean, like couples ceremonies, small
Mm-hmm.
groups of like friends and families. Um, so I do hold sacred space using ayahuasca, using Wachuma, San Pedro, uh, uh, yeah, San Pedro cactus,
Mm-hmm.
Yopo, DMT. I also do Cambo, Hape, Sadanga. I work with a lot of different medicines. So if you want to get in contact with me, you can email me at nighthawktherapy@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a text. I don't mind people having my number. It's 404-781-5577. They can hit me up on IG at Nighthawk Therapy, you know. So try to get in touch with the Nighthawk. Come get this healing done and see for yourself, man, where these things can take you and what they can do for you.
Yeah, I think I put most of that information besides your number in the description. So yeah, please y'all go below and reach out to the good brother because I'm very proud, like I was saying, of you and all those other healers that we have in Atlanta. The brothers and sisters, and all over the world too. But specific Atlanta because I know y'all. You know what I'm saying. But I'm very proud to see y'all brothers and sisters, man, on a large number, just coming out to help us people because we've been hurt for so long. You know what I'm saying, and we need this help, man. So I applaud all y'all healers out there because it's necessary, and not only that, the brothers and sisters that understand how the entheogens do work as far as getting us to that next level in which a lot of us need to start traversing the multiverse to see what's really going on. Because if most of the stuff you've been presented to ain't shit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And you'll never look
right.
at it the same once you go there. I promise you that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you won't.
mm-mm,
And if
you
you want
know.
to support and donate, you can tap Cash App, Nighthawk Therapy on the Cash App as well.
Yeah,
You know
let's
what I'm
put that
saying?
up. Let's do that real quick. Let's put that up there since we
Yeah,
already
man.
on here. Let's do that. Get that get that on there for
This
for
internet
for
this intellectual property, man. Y'all pay y'all show y'all love for the jewels that y'all be getting.
that's real talk, man. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. It's what is it? Nighthawk? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, Nighthawk Therapy.
That's it? Okay. So
Yeah, that's my
Nighthawk,
Cash App, Nighthawk Therapy.
Nighthawk therapy. Let me know. Let me see if I. Let me know if it's right. I'm putting it up here now.
Yep, that's right.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, y'all, please support the good brother. You know what I'm saying? Because
Cause I do
we
pro
all got.
bono work too, man. So I try to help. I try to help everybody out. I'm from the community, man. So
Yeah.
like y'all donations go for the people that might need some help. They can't afford to come to a ceremony or something, but they really need help. They
Mm,
really have things that they going through. I try to help people out as much as they can, as much as I can, man. Cause
yeah.
that's the way we're going to. I can't wait till we can get out of this currency exchange and the manner that we're doing it right now.
I agree. I'm with you 100%,
it's
man. I'm with you. I'm with you
it's
100%.
limited.
Look,
It's limiting and hindering us from evolving, yo.
Yeah. It's interesting you said that because I just started myself gardening, right? And the first time I started to see those seeds just sprout, it's making me closer and closer to saying, I don't need y'all shit. I don't need y'all for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't
Right.
need y'all for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I could
Right.
eat watermelon all day. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
Right. I
no,
don't need you for nothing. Right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Real talk, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I'm hoping, you know what I'm saying, we can do a round two. And I'd love to speak to your Maku as well if we can make that happen. But um, I'm gonna save the next for round two, man, because I think that you
Yeah, man. I could go deep, man. I don't even think you really scratch the surface with me. Like,
no, nah, we ain't. This is your introduction, because if you see, I'm not sure, but I always have repeat cats. You know what I'm saying? And every
right,
subject we have, sometimes we got to set things up. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean, for deeper conversation. You know what I'm saying? I think you did a
right.
great job as far as laying a foundation for some real talk. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying, so much,
hey,
man.
man.
And I can't wait to see you on October 1st, man. We're gonna, we'll talk about more about that and get that thing. We got some things
Yeah, man.
happening
If
in
y'all in
ATL.
Atlanta, man, Sadiq Bistro, man.
Yeah,
Let them
man.
know.
October 1st. Go ahead and put that in the calendar. It's going down at Sadiq's. We're gonna but um yeah, we gotta we're gonna keep the healing temple. We're gonna bring the healing temple back to life, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start healing folks, man. Real talk. So that's it on that end. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, we are out. Of course, always, if you can, go to Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast, check out our book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you all have a great time. Anything else you want to say for him, Chief?
Hey, man. Love, light, wholeness, and vibrations, man. I love everybody. I love y'all. Do the work, heal yourself, and evolve.
That's it. All right, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow night, same place, same time. We're gonna be here with I can't remember who is tomorrow night. I can't remember. Let me take a look and see if I can even tell. Anyway, I can't remember who it is, but it's gonna be dope. So all my guests this
Okay.
week, I know they all my guests this week. I actually did one of the brothers, Wade. He just hit us up recently, and it's interesting because Chief, he's gonna be talking about entheogens, but he's also gonna be talking about sobriety. You know what I'm saying? Having
Oh yeah.
sobriety and going through that
Oh yeah,
battle. You
Ben.
know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Right.
man. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Yeah. Sobriety is very important, man. Being a sober and sober mind and not having
exactly.
anything, because we are an entheogen ourselves. We produce DMT too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
produce DMT. Our DMT is activated in the triple black darkness.
Mm.
That's when it's activated. So I do sweat lodge. Oh yeah, I do sweat lodges here
Okay.
in Atlanta every well, I've been doing them every full moon. So but next month I'm thinking about switching to another moon phase. I haven't been sure. So be on the lookout for my sweat lodges, because sweat lodges is a way I got back to the foundation without using any medicine, using all natural technologies, and activating the DMT within yourself, sitting in the triple darkness, accompanied with heat.
Oh,
So yeah,
well, let me ask this question because I think this is interesting as well. Dealing with the entheogens and mushrooms specifically. Do you when you go on these higher dose trips, do you like to be like in a position where, like, you're in the triple darkness, complete darkness, or like what is
hell
your
yeah,
yeah? That's the best way.
I like to be. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's the best way. That's how I like it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
that's
to
how you like.
be.
That's the best for you, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
You can maximize so much out of your journey sitting in
uh-huh.
triple darkness, because that's when you really void yourself of any distraction.
Distractions.
You know what
Okay,
I'm
that makes
saying?
sense.
Yeah, you tap in. So it's just like on your journey, if you open your eyes and you're in a place and you can see things, that can
Yeah,
be distracting.
distractive.
And
Yeah.
sitting in triple darkness, it don't matter if you open or close your eyes. All of it's triple darkness. And then whatever is activated, then that's what you're going through.
Ah, okay. So
So
even if you in
so
the
you
darkness,
void
you open your eyes, you still
it's You still in darkness, so you can't be distracted. You know what I'm
I
saying?
see. Okay.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
you cancel out all distractions. You
Hmm.
limit yourself. You limit the possibilities of you becoming distracted by anything, even
So
yourself. You know what I'm saying?
so
You
that
can't
would
even see yourself,
lessen.
your hand wave. You can't even see your hand waving. Well, let me say you can't. I'm not gonna say you can't see. At
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
certain point, that's when you tap into that what what we think is darkness is just
Hmm.
another spectrum of light, and that's
Hmm.
when that ultraviolet spectrum kicks in, and then you start to illuminate from the inside out, and then you do start to see, right? So that's the miracle that tends to happens when you're sitting in triple darkness. You start to understand the different levels of light. There's no such thing as
Okay.
darkness. It's just the different spectrums of light. Everything is light.
So in triple,
Even that.
so in tri go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just that's just another trick of this English diction. You know what I'm saying? When they
Yeah,
say
yeah,
light, dark, and they start separating things. There's no separation. We understand that
yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah, yeah,
separation, right? So if
yeah,
there's no separation, then the same thing with light. There's
yeah.
everything is light, just
Like
different
just energy, just
spectrums of it,
energy. Exactly.
just
So
energy and different spectrums of it.
so you sitting in triple darkness and you're in a higher dose. Okay, I see what you're saying. So even if you open your eyes, you'll still stay in darkness, but you're still traversing and you are where you are because it doesn't matter if you open your eyes or not, correct? Because it's dark, correct?
Right,
Okay.
right, because it's
I'm with
dark.
you. I'm with you. I got you.
Right, right.
I'm with you.
In the beginning stage, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then after you're sitting there long enough, then that's when you notice that you are in actual light and not darkness, just a
Got you.
different spectrum
Yeah.
of light.
Of light. Yeah.
You
I'm with you. Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So this is what happens, right? And with different medicines, some medicines take you to like this white place, some medicines take you to the deep dark, what we would call deep dark place. But they're
Hmm.
all just different. They're all on just a different spectrum. So right. So imagine if you go on your journey, and it propels you to this white, like this white, what I call the white room, because I've been there. Right.
Hmm.
Just nothing. It's just everything is white.
Hmm.
Everything you see, look around, is just brilliant and bright white light. Right.
Hmm.
If you just focus in what you perceive to be in a straight direction, right?
Hmm.
Focus your perception to look in a straight direction.
Hmm.
When sitting in this white room, what you'll notice is that a black dot appears,
Hmm.
right? A real
Hmm.
teeny black dot. And
Hmm.
then when you stare at that black dot long enough, it starts to enlarge, and then you like go through there. Then
Mm.
when you go in that, now you encompass it by all this darkness, right?
Mm.
All this what we call darkness. You
Hmm.
sit in that long enough and you realize, wait a minute, it's not darkness. This is another spectrum of light,
Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
then once you have that perception, what happens is this white pen of light appears. Just same as the black. It's just like
Hmm.
the same thing happens. This pen of black appears, and you stare and focus at that, and what happens? The pen starts to get big, big,
Hmm.
big, 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 big. Bam! Now you're back in the white again. It's like, oh shit!
Mm.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like these are some of the uh I guess phenomena that I have experienced traversing and sitting with these medicines long enough. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Having these understandings, using the tool, like it takes breath work, it takes concentration, it takes
Hmm.
focus to do these things what I just talked about. From
Hmm.
moving from this, just playing with the light, you know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about accessing, I ain't even talking about have access in different record halls of information. I'm just talking about just dealing with the aspect of light. You can do this just dealing with the aspect of lighting and coming into grips and understanding what light is. We
Hmm.
are light beings, right?
Hmm.
If we
Hmm.
are light beings, that means dark is light because we melanin, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. So that means dark. That what we call in dark is really light.
Yeah.
This ether is light.
Ether's light. Yeah.
It's just a
Yep.
different spectrum of it. We have to get it
Yeah.
reprogram the mind. We use these words to, because they're familiar to people to give them the understanding of what we say. But
Yeah.
I also
Exactly.
educate people that when I say dark, I'm not really talking about a darkness. I'm really just describing another level of light.
Yeah. A state. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another state of
Yeah.
light.
Yeah. You know, and that just adds more credence because I used to, I remember Dr. York. He would always talk about like black people being, or non-ether beings, and like how
Nine
non
ether.
non-ether beings, and like
Mm-hmm.
n- traversing, and even what you're talking about now, it even makes more sense because you're not a human. You're tech, like you said earlier, technology. You're part
Piece of
of
tech.
always. Yeah, always like to say
Yeah,
that how we're like somebody just said earlier, like here how we're gods with amnesia. You know what I'm saying? And how we
that's
just
it.
don't know how to use these tools, like you're saying, the breathing tools, all these different tools that we just lost. But you know, again, once you just find them again, you back where originated from.
Back
You know
where you
what I mean?
started, man.
Back where you started.
We back doing what we was doing.
I love it, man. I
And the
love it,
cycle
man.
goes on.
The cycle goes on.
It's
Yep,
just a
yep.
simulation, like Baba says, simulation upon simulation upon simulation upon
Assimilation.
simulation.
Yeah, yeah.
It just keeps
Excellent.
going, bro.
Man, I love it, man. We're gonna have a part two, man. We're gonna really have to start cracking some skulls, man. So
Yeah,
I
man. Let me know, man. I'm down for it, man.
yeah,
Anytime.
yeah. I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you October 1st. Besides that, we're gonna close this out. Thank y'all much, man. Thank you, Chief Nighthawk. Y'all hit him up. Hit him on the cash off Nighthawk Therapy. Hit him up. You know what I'm saying? Please show him some love. Even show your boy your bro Zoe some love. PDR Corp
Yeah.
Cash App. But you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do
A
that and
dollar, man. Send me like hit me up with $1, man. You can't cash at me $1.
yeah,
People be think
dollar.
I be asking for cash at me $1. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool. Well, I'm excited. Again, like the brother Wade McGee, he just chimed. I can't wait to talk to him, boy, because it's gonna be this whole week's gonna be you started this week off amazingly, sir. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? It could. I can't say much more, but y'all stick it. Tune in the next 2 nights. Peace and love. Your Brozo
Peace.
Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Chief Nighthawk, and y'all be out. I'm out. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.